Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to do sort of a quick video where I actually shed some light on another YouTuber who has done a fantastic job enhancing the simulator's performance. He's got some very thorough videos and I wanted to give a big shout out, so stay tuned guys and I'm going to explain what happened here. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Okay, so first off, before we get started, I want you guys to all know where we are. Right now, we're obviously chilling in the Mooney for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we are over New York City. We're just approaching JFK Airport. It's over there off to the right here. Let me get the aircraft settled down here, and we'll go over and take a peek here. But let me tell you what happened for me. So first off, in very large, busy areas such as New York, I gained about 15 to 20 frames per second based on what he had going on. Now, the thing that I liked most about this YouTuber's channel, this is 2020 fs'ers, and I'll have a link to his channel down in the description below. Make sure you guys go over, check out his videos, give him a like and a subscribe because this is really awesome information and one of the most thorough and very well detailed performance videos that I have seen in a long time, because not only does he tell you what settings to change, he actually breaks down what a lot of the settings do and why you are doing them. That way you can hopefully take that information and manipulate it into something a bit more easier to understand for yourself, so that way you can adjust the scene as required. For example, sitting here looking around, there's a couple things that I'm going to change based on what I am seeing here. However, normally, even in something like the Mooney here, over New York City, I don't ever fly on the East Coast because my frame rates go to crap. All of my graphics or computer specs are listed down in the description below if you guys are interested. But the long story short is I'm on AMD 5900X, as well as using 64 gigs of DDR4 3200, and I am rocking the RTX 3080. Okay, so with all of that in mind, I used to really suffer in the larger metropolitan areas. I've always wanted to fly over them, but I just could never get the frame rates that I would enjoy. Now, although there are many spots where I didn't necessarily get a frame rate increase, which is very odd. For example, Los Angeles, I didn't get really any frame rate, like I said, increase. What I did get was a much smoother performance. One of the things we've all noticed in Microsoft Flight Simulator has come up quite a bit, especially since Sim Update 8, is the micro stuttering, or the weird shifts and pulses that you would see the terrain doing. If you notice, at least at the moment, knock on wood, that is gone for me. Now, there are two videos specifically that I watched today that I'm going to put in order in which I recommend you watch them as well. And he states the same thing, which is very nice. And I just want you guys to give him a big shout out. I'm not going to go through all of his changes because I don't want to take away from the hard work that he put into it. Like I said, this is going to be a pretty short video from my standpoint. However, I do want to make some things very clear. And that is, as always, please remember that with any computer hardware, mileage is going to vary, right? So just because, even if you have the exact same hardware that I have, you may get a completely different outcome than what I received here, because it's going to be based on software and load times, and obviously what we call the silicone lottery. There are no two computer parts that are made equally, I can tell you that right now, unless they are handpicked by the developers, which is what we normally see as a review product on a lot of the review channels, right? However, there are a couple of other weird things that I have seen. Like, for example, I'm seeing a little bit of shimmering out here, but that's because of one of the settings that he very much mentioned. And I'm not going to take away from his video, so I don't want to express that. But what I do want you guys to realize is that the biggest gain that I have personally taken from this is a much smoother gameplay. I have not seen them. You guys are sitting there seeing it live. If you guys are seeing any stuttering right now, it is the recording. I can promise you 100%. This is smooth as glass for me. I am not seeing any stuttering. I'm not seeing any hiccup. I'm not seeing any lag in the terrain. Live weather is on. AI multiplayer is on, or AI multiplayer. You guys know what I meant. AI and multiplayer are on. Everything is set as we would want to set the simulator. The one thing that I will say that he brought up that was very, very nice is if you go into your graphics settings. I don't mind sharing this part because this was actually a big one for me. One of the things that I still see here, limited by main thread. If you guys see that, that is very much so your terrain level of detail. Objects level of detail, if I crank that back up, I don't notice much of a difference, but we'll go ahead and throw that back up. And you can see that there really wasn't any performance increase. The objects or terrain level of detail, however, by dropping it from 200 to 100, I gained about 10 frames per second. For example, I will show you guys some of the information that he showed. So let's take this up to 200. I'm not going to go any higher than that. But if we kick that up, you guys can see my frame rates dropped pretty significantly, and now I'm getting a little bit of stuttering, but I don't know if that's stuttering or just me bouncing between the 30 to 50 frames per second. Once you get down into that 30 frames per second range especially, that's when you're really going to start feeling the impact on the simulator. That's when you're going to start noticing your stutterings. That's when you're going to start noticing frame loss. But again, kicking that back down, and you don't notice a huge difference. You're going to notice it in the beginning, I promise you guys. And like, let's take it down to 150 and see if that doesn't give us a little bit better of a ride here. Okay, so now we're back up into the 40s. I know we were holding there a bit before, but if you notice about the frame rates, what I'm liking the most about it is whether I'm in a turn or looking straight on, they are very stable frames, and that you can work with. What I would see before going through his videos is I would peak into the 40s and 50s, but it was very unstable. It'd be all over the place. You know, as I made a turn, which in a way makes sense. As you make a turn like this, you're getting less terrain being rendered and displayed on the screen and more of the skies, what you're seeing here. Okay, it's sort of like when you turn your head. If we turn up and look up right now, notice the frame rates come up a little bit, where if we look down, they drop about the same. Okay, but the mileage that I would see as far as the dropping back and forth used to be pretty extreme. But I have noticed that definitely 100 is the sweet spot. And again, I'm running a 3080, and almost everything else is on ultra. I mean, you guys can see the settings are very, very high. The other thing that is the texture super sampling, we'll go ahead and kick that back up a little bit. But I didn't notice much of a quality increase when doing so, and I only lost about a frame per second. So really, that was just a little bit of testing that I did of myself. But he also goes into breaking down the settings in VR and how they will negatively impact VR. Okay, there's one setting in NVIDIA control panel. Again, I'm going to let him do the explanation because he earned this. He did a very fantastic job. But he goes in to explain in the NVIDIA control panel settings that if you set said setting, it will impact VR negatively. So he even goes down to break down if, you know, whether or not you want to do this and how what your gameplay is, right? Me, I do primarily recording. I've pretty much stepped away from VR for Microsoft Flight Simulator because of that, because I record so much, I stream so much. But guys, I have never had frame rates like this in Microsoft Flight Simulator, where they're stable and smooth like this. And again, you can see some artifacts going on in the background here, like some weird tickering back here, but I don't even know what to attribute that to. That could actually just be, I mean, it almost looks like maybe it's just rendering a little bit better. I mean, I don't know. I haven't decided if I like that or not. But my point in bringing this up, and the reason why I wanted to have this video, is because of the fact that the explanations were done so very, very well. And my gameplay is significantly better. And even by turning the terrain level of detail on, that's what I was getting at. Sorry, I sort of went on a rant there for a second. Turning the terrain level of detail down to 100, you notice it at first, but after a few minutes of flying, I promise you won't notice it anymore. I promise it will go away, and I promise you're going to be much, much happier. As you've noticed throughout the video, I've been descending. Okay, so we're getting closer and closer to the terrain. We're getting where the detail is going to be far more visible, where you're starting to pick up on roads and houses and roofs and treetops. And look at the frame rates, guys. Look at the frames per second. And we are over one of the most densely populated areas in the nation. Okay, and it's running fantastic. This is so smooth. I am so grateful grateful for 2020 fs'ers work. I'm grateful for his testing, and I just want to help out a smaller channel. I know I'm not some big pounder, but you know, if I can get, you know, half of you guys to go and give him a subscribe, give him a boost, guys, please, because it really does help us as YouTube content creators. The likes and the subscribes and the comments, they make a huge difference in our performance as a channel. It increases the rate at which our videos are advertised. It increases, obviously, the monetary value that we do get from the channels. It really does make a big difference. And so please jump over to his channel right away. Give him a like and a subscribe, please. If nothing more than a personal favor for me, if you enjoyed any of my content, that'd be a great way to say thank you, is to help this guy out. Because if you go through his channel, guys, look through all of his videos, he has a ton of video or Microsoft Flight Simulator performance videos, specifically as well in VR. He goes into great detail about the OpenXR toolkit, which, guys, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you're going to want to watch that video. It helped me out in the Pimax. And again, if I can ever find a decent way to record VR, we'll be back in VR. But Microsoft Flight Simulator and VR recording is very, very difficult. I think I found a way to do it in DCS that I like, but we're not quite there yet. But I mean, just watch the screen. I mean, I really hope you guys aren't seeing stuttering, because I can promise you, again, through this entire flight, I have not seen one single hiccup on the graphics. I've been so excited and so blessed by this. Like, this is seriously awesome. Okay, I was getting really frustrated in my last previous videos because of the stuttering. That was so bad. I mean, it was a blatant lag in terrain rendering, and it's gone. Okay, so follow his steps. Make sure you watch. I recommend the two videos I'm going to put in the link in the description. Please watch them both first before you execute the steps. Okay, just watch them both first, get an idea of what you're going to be doing, and then if you decide it's for you, then execute them. And I recommend watching them on your cell phone or something like that, because there is one video where you are going to need to reboot your computer in safe mode. And if you reboot your Windows 10 or Windows machine in safe mode, you will not be able to access the internet to watch it while you do it. So I do also recommend that part as well. Anyways, I know I sort of went on a ramble. This was supposed to be a short video. I'm sorry that I didn't make it. And for those of you who even dare say the comment, the 10-minute requirement for YouTube has been gone for 2 years. So that's not why I did it. I just rambled. You guys all know I have a passion for this stuff. And I remember what it was like to be very, very small trying to get some of these videos out. So anyway, deserves a really big hit. I want you guys to check this video out. So check out the links in the description below. 2020 fs'ers, fantastic work. Keep doing what you're doing. Your performance videos are a gem, absolute gem, and I really appreciate the effort that you put into this, because you've made my experience as a content creator significantly better. So keep doing what you do, sir. And to the rest of you, as always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.